Chris Butt is P4 on Supers. Jason Short is P3. Best lap is a 1:59.845. Todd is P2. Chris Butt is 4th. Todd is P2. Chris Butt is P4. Yamashita 40 from New Zealand is P4 on Supers. Todd is P3. Jason Short is 1st. Best lap is a 1:32.525. Todd is P3. Jason Short is P1. Best lap is a 1:32.014. Chris Butt from New Zealand is P5. Jason Short is 1st. Yamashita 40 is P4. Jason Short is P1. Chris Butt is P5. Yamashita 40 is 4th. Chris Butt is 5th. Todd is P3. Yamashita 40 is 4th. Chris Butt is P5. Yamashita 40 is P3 on Supers. Best lap is a 1:32.662. Chris Butt is 5th. Jason Short is P1. Chris Butt is P5. Jason Short is P1. Todd from New Zealand is P4. Yamashita 40 is P3. Jason Short is P1. Yamashita 40 is P3 on Supers. Chris Butt from New Zealand is 5th. Jason Short is P1. Todd is 4th. Jason Short is 1st. YH8 Racing is 6th on softs. Yamashita 40 is 3rd. Jason Short from New Zealand is 1st. Todd is P4. YH8 Racing is 5th on supers. Todd is P4. Chris Butt is P6. Jason Short is 1st. Todd is 4th. The qualification session is at Gardner GP Circuit 2014 in Eastern Creek, Australia. The wind speed is 1 km/h from the northeast. Chris Butt is 20th. Jason Short from New Zealand is 1st on supers. YH8 Racing is P3 on supers. Jonathan Rosser from New Zealand is 5th on Supers. Yamashita 40 from New Zealand is 2nd on Supers. Jason Short is 1st. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Yamashita 40 is 2nd up 17.13. Chris Budd from New Zealand is 6th on Supers. YH8 Racing is P1. Todd from New Zealand is 4th up 0.45 on Supers. Jonathan Rosser is P7. Chris Budd is 6th. MMR 333 from Canada is P5 on Supers. Yamashita 40 is fourth up 0.43. Yamashita 40 is provisional pole with a 132.611. Chris Butt is 6th up 11.26. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Jason Short is 6th up 3.98. Jonathan Rosser is 7th up 0.68. Jason Short is P6. MMR 333 is P2. Best lap is a 134.169. 1.558 off pole. MMR 333 improved his second with a 132.874. 0.263 off pole. Todd is P4. Todd improved his P3 with a 134.958. 2.347 off pole. YH8 Racing is fourth. YH8 Racing improved his third with a 134.358. 1.747 off pole. Jonathan Rosser is 7th up 1.41. Jason Short is 6th up 10.28. Jason Short improved his P3 with a 133.098. 0.487 off pole. Yamashita 40 is provisional pole with a 132.203. MMR 333 is provisional pole with a 131.899. Todd is P5. Todd improved his fifth with a 134.673. 2.774 off pole. Chris Butt is 6th. Jonathan Rosser is P7 up 0.49. Jason Short is third. Jason Short improved his third with a 132.743. 0.844 off pole. Jonathan Rosser is P7. Jason Short is third up 0.22. The qualifying session is now in overtime. Yamashita 40 is P2 up 0.22. Jason Short is P3. Best lap is a 132.743. 0.844 off pole. Chris Butt is 6th. Best lap is a 136.000. 4.101 off pole. Todd is P5 up 0.11. Chris Butt is 6th. Todd is P5 up 0.21. Chris Butt is P6 on Supers. Broadcast Bot is P20. The race session is at Gardner GP Circuit 2014 in Eastern Creek, Australia. The wind speed is 2 km/h from the northeast. MMR 333 is first. Yamashita 40 from New Zealand is second on Supers. Jason Short from New Zealand is third on Supers. YH8 Racing is P4 on Supers. Todd from New Zealand is 5th on Supers. Chris Butt from New Zealand is 6th on Supers. Jonathan Rosser from New Zealand is P7 on Supers. MMR 333 from Canada is first on Supers. "20 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Yamashita 40 is second. Yamashita 40 is now first. Jason Short is P2. Jason Short lost P4 to Chris Budd. YH8 Racing is P2. Todd is P3. Jason Short is P4. Todd is 4th. YH8 Racing is 4th. Chris Budd is 5th, 0.1 behind YH8 Racing. Chris Budd passed YH8 Racing for 4th. Chris Budd lost 5th to Jonathan Rosser. Chris Budd lost P6 to Yamashita 40. YH8 Racing is P4, 1.1 behind Todd. Todd is P3, 0.8 ahead of YH8 Racing. YH8 Racing is 4th, 1.9 behind Todd. Todd is P3 on Supers, 2.0 ahead of YH8 Racing. Todd was 1.2 faster last lap. YH8 Racing is 4th, 2.1 behind Todd. Todd was 1.2 faster last lap. Yamashita 40 is P6, 2.5 behind Jonathan Rosser. YH8 Racing is 4th, 2.3 behind Todd. Yamashita 40 is 6th, 0.8 behind Jonathan Rosser. Jonathan Rosser is P6, 0.1 behind Yamashita 40. 15 minutes remaining in the session. YH8 Racing is P4, 1.9 behind Todd. Jonathan Rosser is P6, 1.5 behind Yamashita 40. YH8 Racing is P4, 1.8 behind Todd. Jason Short from New Zealand is P2. YH8 Racing is 4th. Best lap is a 1:34.304. 1.604 off the fastest lap. Jason Short is P2. Best lap is a 1:32.700. 0.619 off the fastest lap. YH8 Racing is 4th, 1.7 behind Todd. Jason Short is P2, 3.6 behind MMR 333. YH8 Racing is P4. Jason Short is P2 on Supers, 0.8 behind MMR 333. Yamashita 40 is P5, 3.2 behind YH8 Racing. Jason Short is P2, 0.8 behind MMR 333. Yamashita 40 is 5th, 1.5 behind YH8 Racing. Todd on lap 6 is P3, 3.6 ahead of YH8 Racing. Yamashita 40 is P5, 1.1 behind YH8 Racing. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Todd is P3, 2.0 behind MMR 333. Todd was 8.9 faster last lap. Yamashita 40 is P5 on Supers, 0.2 behind YH8 Racing. Yamashita 40 passed YH8 Racing for P4. YH8 Racing is 5th, 1.3 behind Yamashita 40. Yamashita 40 was 3.1 faster last lap. Todd is 3rd. Best lap is a 1:34.061. 1.980 off the fastest lap. YH8 Racing is 5th on Supers, 3.1 behind Yamashita 40. Yamashita 40 is 4th, 3.0 behind Todd. Chris Butt is 7th, 3.0 behind Jonathan Rosser. MMR 333 is 2nd, 4.3 behind Jason Short. Chris Butt is P7, 3.1 behind Jonathan Rosser. Chris Butt was 2.8 faster last lap. MMR 333 is 2nd, 4.2 behind Jason Short. Yamashita 40 from New Zealand is 5th. MMR 333 is 2nd, 3.8 behind Jason Short. Chris Butt is 7th. Best lap is a 1:34.323. 2.526 off the fastest lap. MMR 333 is 2nd, 3.4 behind Jason Short. MMR 333 was 0.9 faster last lap. Chris Butt is 7th, 2.9 behind Jonathan Rosser. Five minutes remaining in the session. MMR 333 on lap 10 is 3rd, 0.7 behind Todd. Chris Butt is P7, 3.1 behind Jonathan Rosser. MMR 333 is third, 0.1 behind Todd. Yamashita 40 from New Zealand is 5th, 3.8 behind YH8 Racing. MMR 333 from Canada is P3, 0.5 behind Todd. Yamashita 40 on lap 11 is 5th, 3.6 behind YH8 Racing. Todd from New Zealand is third battling MMR 333. Todd passed MMR 333 for P2. YH8 Racing is 4th, 0.8 behind MMR 333. Yamashita 40 is 5th, 0.3 behind YH8 Racing. YH8 Racing is P4, 0.2 ahead of Yamashita 40. YH8 Racing lost P4 to Yamashita 40. Yamashita 40 from New Zealand is 4th, 4.1 behind MMR 333. YH8 Racing is 5th. Yamashita 40 is 4th, 3.6 behind MMR 333. MMR 333 is P3, 4.0 ahead of Yamashita 40. Yamashita 40 is 4th, 4.4 behind MMR 333. MMR 333 is P3, 4.0 ahead of Yamashita 40. Yamashita 40 from New Zealand is P4. The leader has just finished the race. Jason Short finished first. Chris Butt finished 7th. Todd finished P2. MMR 333 finished 3rd. Yamashita 40 finished P4. YH8 Racing finished P5. Jonathan Rosser is P6. Jonathan Rosser finished 6th. Broadcast bot is 8th. The race session is at Gardner GP Circuit 2014, in Eastern Creek, Australia. The wind speed is 3 km/h from the northeast. Chris Butt is P1. Jonathan Rosser from New Zealand is P2 on Supers. YH8 Racing is P3 on Supers. Yamashita 40 from New Zealand is 4th on Supers. MMR 333 from Canada is P5 on Supers. Todd from New Zealand is 6th on Supers. Jason Short from New Zealand is 7th on Supers. Chris Butt from New Zealand is P1 on Supers. "20 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Jonathan Rosser is P2. Jonathan Rosser passed Chris Butt for first. Chris Butt is P2. Chris Butt lost 5th to Todd. MMR 333 is 2nd. Jason Short is P3. MMR 333 is P2. Jason Short is P3. MMR 333 is 2nd. MMR 333 lost P2 to Jason Short. Jason Short is second, 0.5 behind Yamashita 40. MMR 333 is fourth, 0.4 behind Jonathan Rosser. Jason Short is second, 1.0 behind Yamashita 40. Jonathan Rosser is fourth. Best lap is a 1:45.784. 4.144 off the fastest lap. Chris Butt is P6, 1.0 behind Todd. Jason Short is second. Best lap is a 1:42.311. 0.671 off the fastest lap. Chris Butt is sixth, 0.3 behind Todd. Jason Short is P2, 2.0 behind Yamashita 40. Chris Butt is P6 on Supers, 0.6 behind Todd. Todd is P5, 1.3 ahead of Chris Butt. Chris Butt is sixth, 1.0 behind Todd. Todd from New Zealand is P5, 1.3 behind Jonathan Rosser. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Jason Short is P2 on Supers, 1.9 behind Yamashita 40. Chris Butt is sixth. Best lap is a 1:36.243. 3.514 off the fastest lap. Todd is fifth, 1.2 behind Jonathan Rosser. Todd lost P5 to Chris Butt. Jason Short is second, 1.9 behind Yamashita 40. Jason Short passed Yamashita 40 for P1. Chris Butt is fifth, 1.3 behind Jonathan Rosser. Todd is P6, 2.6 behind Chris Butt. Chris Butt was 4.6 faster last lap. Jonathan Rosser is P5, 0.1 behind Chris Butt. Jonathan Rosser passed Chris Butt for P4. Todd from New Zealand is 6th, 0.3 behind Jonathan Rosser. Jonathan Rosser was 2.7 faster last lap. Jonathan Rosser is 5th, 0.2 ahead of Todd. Todd is P6, 0.3 behind Jonathan Rosser. Jonathan Rosser is 5th, 2.9 ahead of Todd. MMR 333 is 2nd, 4.1 behind Jason Short. Jonathan Rosser is 5th, 2.2 behind Chris Butt. MMR 333 from Canada is 2nd, 4.1 behind Jason Short. Jonathan Rosser is 5th, 1.0 behind Chris Butt. Chris Butt was 3.7 faster last lap. MMR 333 is 2nd, 4.1 behind Jason Short. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Jonathan Rosser is P5 on Supers, 0.3 behind Chris Butt. MMR 333 is P2, 4.6 behind Jason Short. YH8 Racing exiting pits on Supers. Jonathan Rosser is 5th, 0.2 behind Chris Butt. Jonathan Rosser passed Chris Butt for P4. Chris Butt is 6th, 1.8 behind Todd. Todd was 2.4 faster last lap. Chris Butt is now P5. MMR 333 is 2nd. Best lap is a 131.629. Chris Butt is P5, 3.7 behind Todd. Todd was 9.2 faster last lap. MMR 333 from Canada is P2, 3.1 behind Jason Short. Chris Butt is 5th, 2.2 behind Todd. MMR 333 from Canada is P2, 3.5 behind Jason Short. Chris Butt is 5th, 4.0 behind Todd. MMR 333 is P2, 3.0 behind Jason Short. Chris Butt on lap 9 is 5th. MMR 333 is P2, 2.4 behind Jason Short. Chris Butt from New Zealand is P5. MMR 333 is P2. Best lap is a 1:31.614. Five minutes remaining in the session. Chris Butt is P5. MMR 333 on lap 10 is second, 2.0 behind Jason Short. Chris Butt is P5. MMR 333 is P2, 2.3 behind Jason Short. Jonathan Rosser is 6th. MMR 333 is second, 1.7 behind Jason Short. Jason Short is second, 0.3 behind MMR 333. Chris Butt is 5th. Jason Short is P2, 1.8 behind MMR 333. Chris Butt is 5th. Jason Short is 2nd on Supers, 2.4 behind MMR 333. Chris Butt is P5. Jason Short is 2nd. Best lap is a 132.257. 0.742 off the fastest lap. Todd is P4. Jason Short is 2nd, 2.4 behind MMR 333. Todd is 4th. The leader has just finished the race. MMR 333 finished P1. Jason Short finished 2nd. Jonathan Rosser finished P6. Yamashita 40 is P3. Yamashita 40 finished 3rd. Todd finished 4th. Chris Butt finished 5th. YH8 Racing finished P7. broadcast bot is PA.